Okay, this is Fernando Soare's Opus 31, number 2. It's a series of studies, and number 2 is much, much more challenging than study number 1. If you're familiar with it, study number 1 is basically a simple lullaby type melody. Much simpler than this piece. This is a good example in the classical period, which Soare was kind of toward the end of the classical period, going into the romantic a little bit. He was steeped in the tradition of classical sonata form, and the spirit of this piece, to me, is very stormy, and at least in the beginning with the minor, it's sort of like a ship out at sea in a storm, and waves crashing, da, 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 crash. It's just very and there was a thing in literature and music, Sturm und Drang, which is a German kind of thing for storm and stress. And this piece is a good piece in contrast, because when he goes into the C major part, it's A minor, and then he goes into, and it's sort of like they're in the happy village and everybody's happy, and it's so you have the stormy ship at the sea, and then the calm part. After the storm, and then the happy part. So think of it, it's a study in contrast. You got that stormy, whippy, kind of crashy part in the beginning, then you have a calm, the calm after the storm, and then you have sort of the, drinking song, you could call it, or just happy village type song, all in one little synopsis of a piece that doesn't even go beyond the 3rd fret of the guitar. And so it's at the level that a beginner can read the notes, but to interpret the piece, you really have to understand the spirit of it and the tradition it comes from. It's from that Haydn, Mozart tradition of classical period. So anyway, getting into the nuts and bolts, you start with a 2-finger A minor, and what I would do is try to kind of make it very pointed. It's kind of a wind up. He's winding up to this F, and that's like a D minor chord, and I would do a rest stroke on that, and you can do a kind of a roll, like ba-dum, ba-dum, and you can get that roll to where it's so quick that it sounds like you're hitting them almost exactly at the same time. But it's okay to roll a little bit, and you do it from bass to treble. So you ba-dum, well, kind of like that. And then that's sort of the waves crashing. And when you come off of that, the note right before the chord, the downbeat, is 3rd finger, so that your 1st and 2nd finger can do that E major chord. Your instinct will be to go to the 2nd finger, but do 3rd finger and then 1st and 2nd. So the fingering is really critical on that scale. It's going pretty fast, so third, like you could try the two notes before the chord, play the chord, and then do B, A, chord. And you're holding an E chord. When you put your pinky on the third fret, D, that makes it an E seventh. And keep holding the second finger. Soar has a tie that goes through three measures. Now, he's not telling you that it's going to ring that long. It's probably not going to ring that long, but he's telling you to hold that finger. I'm still holding it. And I end up with a full A minor, three finger A minor. You know, we started with a two finger A minor. And then from the E chord, I'm still holding the second finger going into the A minor. And then I'm still holding the A minor. This next thing is a real big wind up. It's a bigger wind up than the first one. Most of the time I'm holding that second finger. And I'm doing 3, 1, 3. Like that. I didn't. And you can, by the time you play that open string, you should probably let go of everything. So it's a bigger wind up to one note higher than the first wind up was. Then the second wind up. Do a rest stroke, a pull off, third finger. Then you have these creepy chords, I call them. You know, they're kind of, let me do that again. It's like, ends up back on that two finger E chord. And then I usually do a rest stroke on that downbeat with the bass. And here you have two 30-second notes. When you did the F, that was a dotted eighth note 16th. And you want to count it sort of like 1 and 2 E and this is in 2/4. So really a quarter note is half of a measure. And you could almost think of the eighth note as like a quarter note, you know, but you could, if you were thinking it in 4 beats, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Technically it's and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 E and so my point is that you have that dotted 8th, 16th, 1 and 2 E and now when you get to this E chord in the calm section, it's sort of that same rhythm, 1 and 2, but the 30-second notes are sort of like 1, 1 and 2, like that, 1 and 2, and I would just get used to doing a typical A, M, I arpeggio. Like if you did it without the pull off, and you could do that alternate bass note, or do it without that alternate bass note, just 1 and 2. So it's 1 and 2, but it's A, M, I, A, M, I, A, M, I. Okay? just A-M-I. But the pull off, when I do the pull off, I pull against the side of the first string a little bit. So we're not going straight up with the pull off. So do it again. Now when you do these creepy chords, as I call them, it's like, let me find it here, I'm lost on the page. You've got second finger on A and third finger on C. It's like an A minor with a C in the bass, kind of. And then your first finger is going to play the B. Most people would probably move their second finger over and do it like that. But Soar tells you to keep the second finger on the A, and then you're doing first finger on the B, and then the first finger has to hop to that C. But the second finger feels like an anchor. You know, it just keeps your hand stable. And then you do it again. And then you have kind of a D minor chord, but without the D on the second string. That's an open B. So it's you know, it's almost like a D minor sixth chord. You know, Soar was a jazz player. Yeah, I don't know. You all didn't know that, but. And then he moves the second finger to G sharp, and then back to that A minor with a C in the bass. So it's like a D minor sixth. And then I like to be pretty free with that last. Now he's doing an A minor to an E, two finger E, holding the second finger. And keep holding the second finger into that cadence. So it's like. Okay? And make sure you get the alternating. I'm sorry. Let me look at it again. Let's see, it's been a long day. So it's A, I, M, I, M, A, I, M. A, I, M, I, M, A, I, M. Make sure you get that alternation. It's a little bit tricky, and it's but you want to be consistent. You don't want to just do it you know, 2 or 3 different ways. You know, that's asking for trouble. I didn't do that right, but let's see. Okay, and now into the next part. It's sort of like a very childlike melody. You know, it's like bum 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 bum, and then a big skip from the open G to the F, like bum 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 E. Da 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 da. Ba bum 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 bum. Okay. Now, sometimes I'll do a rest stroke on the pickup note and let the C kind of blend in with it. And it's a C chord. And then sometimes I'll do the rest stroke on the downbeat. I switch it up, whatever I feel like doing at the moment, just to change things around. I don't do the exact same thing every time. Now this G chord, it has an F on the 4th string, and you're going to finger the bass with the 2nd finger. When you do it the first time, it's like the thumb is kind of going back and forth like that. The second time he does it, further on into the piece, it's just very slightly different. And the thumb is, instead of, it's going, but you're doing this G7th chord is what it is, with 2nd finger in the bass, and the 3rd finger is playing the F, which is the 7th of the chord. And the way the notes line up, they can't be stacked, so they're kind of crunched together, and it might be a little bit hard to tell which notes are played at the same time, but it's 2 notes, the outside notes, and then the D and the G and the F are played together, and then the open B. So now make sure you know what melody is and what the accompaniment is. In this section, the melody notes have the stems up, and you'll see that. Bum, bum, stems up. Okay? And all the other notes are stems down. And when you get to that big skip where it goes up to the F, that's melody. It's like, and 1 and 2, and 1 and 2. So the notes that are in between are accompaniment. So play them very lightly. Think of bringing out the melody, da da, da da. Okay? Don't think of it like da 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 da. Think of it da da, da da. And those notes that are in between, play them very lightly, as if they were, the left hand of the piano playing those notes, while the right hand is hitting the melody. Sorry. Excuse me. Let me look at that part. Sorry. And then that's very, when he hits those G's, all 3 of those are not melody, it's just the last one. So in this piece, you're playing accompaniment notes in the middle of the melody notes, like the melody notes in certain spots, like the spot I was just talking about. Mostly it's pretty easy because it's like starts with a C chord, and this is, I would do thumb and index on those chords. A, M, I, and P. Okay, now this part, I would do rest stroke, rest stroke, rest stroke, rest stroke. And the chords in between are lighter and cut. It's almost like a polka. You know, where you have pa, like that. Now the second chord is tricky. It's to read. It's got a sharp and a flat. You got a C sharp and then a B flat and an E, and it's fingered with second, third, and first fingers. So actually your second finger is going to have to hop from the fourth string to the second fret of the second string when you get into that part. So you're going. So you want to get the sense of the rest stroke notes sustaining. And these chords are lighter, they're filling in the harmony. And you can crescendo. You don't have to hit them all with a hammer, you know, like I just did. But and then his famous M-O-U-S-C, the Mickey Mouse theme again at the end of this piece, like he did in the twice in the study in C. But he has that M-O-U-S, and that's second finger on the bass of that G chord, and you're fingering an F. Okay? And then he goes back to the stormy section again. Winding down. The storm's over. This is the calm. Don't want to take too much liberty with the rhythms. It's not really a romantic piece. And that's the fine, the end. So hopefully this gives you some insights. It's the way I look at the piece. Now, other people may look at it completely different. I'm thinking more in the style of that period, but you don't want to, again, you don't want to just think of this as a study, like it's something I have to do, you know, it's to get to somewhere else, you know. Enjoy this piece, because it's a beautiful piece. Don't play it like da, 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 da. You know, you want to make it come to life, and it's a wonderful piece. Soar was a genius at writing student pieces that are great music, you know, really good music. So have fun with this one. It's a beautiful piece, and usually with my students, I take them through 1 through 5 of this Opus 31. I don't like 6 for some reason. I just don't get it. And then 7 is a really cool piece. And that's as far as I've gone with Opus 31. I haven't really done all the studies. I don't even, off the top of my head, I don't even know how many studies are in the Opus 31. I'm kind of embarrassed to say that. But I usually just teach those first 5, and then maybe, you know, do something else and then do number 7 a little later. 7 is a beautiful piece, but really 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 they have totally different characters, and I'm kind of wired out right now, or I try to play a little bit of of, you know, like number 2 is like, I'm sorry, number 3. It's very quick and light, so it's very, very challenging, probably a little more challenging than number 2, even though number 2 is pretty challenging. And then number 4 is, it's almost like a string trio. It's a 3-part piece, very sustained, very slow, like a Beethoven slow movement is the way I look at that one. And then number 5 is like a fanfare. It's like a processional, really. Beautiful pieces. I'm just, you know, I don't have them all memorized, so I'm just playing little snippets of them. But that's sort of what I'll record them all those 5, and then number 7 as well. Hopefully for your benefit, and give a kind of a little lesson along with it, explaining the problems, and that's what I try to do with this. Let me know if this helps you. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, John Hedger Guitar Studio. You might also check out my blues channel, Johnny Roy Blues, and my Facebook page of John Hedger Guitar Studio. I need more likes. I need, you know, and I need more views on my YouTubes, you know, to build up my channel a little bit. So if this helps you, let me know, you know, leave a comment, and enjoy. Okay, all right, take care.